Welcome to the Soup Store. Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I am Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me I have some more RPG horror stories. I got a question for all my Warlock players. What is the weirdest, craziest patron contract you've ever had to sign? Mine is a little bit lame, to be honest, but I guess that is kind of weird. It's not for power or money. I was just an idiot and got scammed by a scam artist. It was my buddy Micah. He used loaded dice, and then I was basically enslaved to a succubus, which was a thing. That was a thing. Look at that, you get a weird intro and some Morrow lore. Now that we're done with that, let's get some RPG horror stories for today. Railroading DM almost gets the party TPK'd, then saved by DMPC. Hey y'all, first post here, but I lurk so I got an idea of how this usually goes. I'll start by saying I was playing a Cyberpunk RED campaign, and because of how difficult it was for me at the time to find a campaign of that sort, especially because I didn't want to find a campaign in my native language of Brazilian Portuguese, I kind of ignored some of the red flags and pressed on. I'll also say that it's really difficult to detail the insanity of what was my first Cyberpunk RED campaign as a player. I've DM'd one table with friends for a few years, but I've been absolutely dying to play in one. So when I saw a post on Brazilian subreddit looking for Cyberpunk players, I was thrilled. I messaged the DM, we hit it off, and things seemed relatively nice. DM had this homebrew campaign which would be taking place in Rio de Janeiro, and plenty of homebrew material, and I thought that was awesome. One thing they said was made me worry though was in relation to not using battle map and narrating most of it, which is fine. But in a game like Cyberpunk that relies quite a lot on measurements and distance for difficulty checks, becomes a bit difficult. I thought it was strange, but I ignored it and thought the DM would make it work. I made a nomad character with a focus on charisma skills and a shotgun. Shotguns in Cyberpunk don't require skills to hit shots, so I thought it would combo well. And I met the other players who seemed relatively alright too. But what made me raise an eyebrow or two was the players sharing edgy memes all the times in a group chat, or straight up some weird mild gore stuff, as well as one of the players having a mad scientist type of character named Hitler. But once again, my desperation to be a player made me ignore these red flags. That's not red flags. You're literally standing next to a siren blaring wee woo, and you're just like, huh, must have been the wind. If you're not playing in a group that you're gonna mesh well with and you're just ignoring somebody, I don't want to be mean about it, but like, you put blinders on. You force yourself to put blinders on. You had a conscious decision to maybe step on out and play with a different table, or just decide, no, Cyberpunk is better than this, whatever is going on. You know, in Brazil, there's this saying, don't go to the supermarket when you're hungry, with the implication being you'll buy anything you see without thinking about it. I think this was one of those situations. There was no session 0. Started directly in game. DM introduced the characters slowly. My character had been hired to kill one of the player characters who had woken up at a bunker, and I made the way to the bar. One thing this DM liked to do was during our roleplay, they just turned around and go, okay, so you guys leave and go outside, or okay, so now you guys are at Y. At one point, DM told me that actually this guy had to kill you, actually have to take him somewhere. That somewhere being somewhere I didn't know existed, that I didn't know how to get there, and that I had no reason to go other than DM telling me I had to. Whenever we try to actually take action and go somewhere or try things to roleplay, DM always turned around and said something along the lines of, actually, you can't go there, so you go here instead. Okay, so you just railroad the players so they can't do a thing. If you're gonna be playing your game like it's like a Telltale adventure game where it's just like choice A, B, and C, I don't think I want to play in your game. I think I want to avoid your table specifically. The fun and freedom of TTRPGs to be able to actually go to specific places instead of just being told, oh, you can't go here, so you go here instead. Why you give me a choice in the first place if I'm supposed to follow a darn script? Don't script your games unless it's like for, I don't know, BBG monologue or something. There has to be a little bit of level of play and freedom in TTRPGs. That is the magic of TTRPGs. If players decide, hey, we're gonna go to the swamp to do a thing, then yeah, you can go to the swamp to do a thing. Or I want to go explore that dark, dreary castle at the top of the mountain. You can just do things. And as a DM, you can just facilitate them actually doing these things. It's not like the DM needs to even worry about battle maps and stuff. Everything is through their head. Everything is being told like verbally and stuff. So they can just come up on the spot with everything going on. Why are they giving a choice to say, oh yeah, I want to go here. You can't go here, so you go here instead. Why even present a choice in the first place at that point? We end up stumbling upon a media player character who could take us there. The DM specifically told us this guy knows how to take you there, as soon as we got where he was. And for those who either don't play Cyberpunk, a media is journalist whose main ability is to have connections that can talk to ask favors. Apparently he had the president of Brazil on speed dial, who knew the location of the bunker we had to go to, and he was told by the DM that he had to come with us to the bunker without being given a reason either. Some stuff happened. We were discussing what to do when we're suddenly surrounded by corporate enemies, despite not doing anything yet, and we had to run out of there using my car. Driving towards the bunker, we had to go through a gang-controlled area, and I don't even remember what happened, but apparently we got knocked out, kidnapped by the criminals. I woke up surrounded by, no joke, 20 enemies. We tried our best, but a fight eventually broke out because the criminals were too drugged to be rational. And of course we took some damage, and because we don't use a battle map, DM would always pull something like this on us. Okay, I try to run for the door. You can't! There's a guy in the way. Okay, then can I try the window? There's someone there also. Are there any other exits I can detect? No. Oh, in case you were wondering, yes, all 20 enemies had individual turns. Good lord, this sounds like a disaster. And the fact that you have to try to memorize for each 20 dudes that you have to fight where they are in your head. How do you not use a battle map at that point? Insanity. I guess the DM saw their own trap and let us escape after one of addicts fell unconscious on a drug-crazed rage. At which point a car chase ensued where we had to run away from the enemies while taking damage at every turn, because they never missed a bullet on us. We got down to critical health. I specifically got down to death save and had to be stabilized. And we were surrounded by the bandits, only for a DMPC. An NPC DM spent like generally 2 minutes describing to literally descend from the heavens in a flying vehicle to get us out of there, killing all 20 gang goons and blowing up favela houses with missiles and machine guns as we left. Session ended when we made it to another nomad camp, but at that point I was too numb to even care. I ended up leaving. Not soon after, one of the players posted actual gore in the group chat, which put me off really hard. Yeah, it kinda sucks that was my first session as a player with a system and a game I like, but hey, lesson learned. Don't ignore the red flags. What still irks me was the railroad and how we couldn't do anything at all to avoid our predicament. Sure, if we were the ones that got ourselves in a situation, I'd understand it. But when the DM knocks your character unconscious without letting you roll dice to even attempt to dodge, it sucks. At some point, I realized that the DM would keep railroading us and the players would keep being weird as hell. So I just left. I guess I should have talked with the DM about it all, but I don't know. No, because the DM would have just been like, no, you can't talk about it. You actually asked me about this instead. You actually instead say, DM, why are you such a good DM? Why are you so amazing? DM, can I please just like give you 30? I don't know why the meme of can you give me 30k from Arknights ended up on me, but whatever. Can I just give you 30k? Perlica, can I give you 30k? Arknights Enfield has rotted my brain and I'm loving it. Anyway, gotcha games aside, this is a DM that is not worth spending time onto in a group that is clearly way too edgy for your own good. If it's just not a game for you, it's not a game for you. I know you want to play as a player, but the best thing you can really do is maybe ask your buddies or one of your players to take over for one game, maybe a one shot, some sort of an event. You know, give yourself a little bit of time to recover from burnout if you are burnt out from DMing as Cyberpunk DM or whatever they use. I don't know what Cyberpunk RED uses, DM, GM, storyteller, whatever adjudicator of the game that you are. Anyway, let's get to the next story for today. DM debuffs my character. That only makes her useful once I change. Okay, burner account because I don't want people to know I'm main to see. Lamau. Also, I'd love for you guys to let me know if I'm overreacting because my friend and I are thinking of leaving the party. I started with a new group a week ago. A friend from my old group came too. We were invited by someone that he had played with before. We made a group chat and talked about characters we wanted to play. DM said that he wanted to do a gritty world where we're all surviving of a zombie apocalypse. Yeah, he said that we should all have high survival and nature to explain why we survived in the wilderness, and that we should have at least one high medicine modifier. He said that we would be tracking all our resources and that we would have to think out of the box solutions when the chips were down. So the setup sounded just my type of game. I know that realism isn't for everyone, but I love the stressy feeling of hoarding resources and hit points and having to be smart as a team about combat and exploring. Long story short, we settled on Druid, me, barbarian friend, ranger, girl that I don't know but my friend does, monk, guy that neither of us know. I had a high wisdom already, so I took high medicine. Everyone had good wisdom, even Barb, and good survival and nature. Talked a lot about how we would work as a party and roles and stuff, so that we could fit together as well. Man, what a missed opportunity to be a cleric. Imagine being in a zombie apocalypse as a cleric, turn undead. Man, you DM would absolutely hate you. They would hate you so much. But it'd be kind of funny, honestly. I mean, what else are they gonna do? Say you can't play as a cleric? Psh, try to stop me, DM. Turn undead, run away, zombies, run away. I mean, then I gotta run away forever. But it's a great way to, crowd control zombies. DM says that he thinks we should just start without a session 0, because we already have characters and setting details. In hindsight, that was a red flag, but at the time I was like, yeah, we already rolled stats and talked out characters and backstory and setting. Once the first session rolled around, I'm super pumped. When we get there, the DM hits us with this. I think that the martial caster gap is a real problem in realism games. So with a few balances, every straight martial character will learn a battle master maneuver at level 1, 4, 8, and so on, in addition to a feat. This sounded reasonable. Martial caster gap can suck as a martial. Casting magic will also be harder, because the world is drained and dying, especially since you guys are nature-based, so every spell has a % chance to fail. Instead, use a spell slot. Chance to fail is higher the more powerful the spell. This seemed extreme, but I was thinking like fails on a 1 or 2. Boy, was I wrong. Oh, that hurts. That hurt just even thinking about it. If your spells have a chance of just not casting, it's the same thing as, let's say, for example, fighter uses action surge. All right, fighter, roll me d20. Ooh, you got a 4. You have to have 5 and above in order to get it. Your action surge doesn't happen, and now you get 1 stack of exhaustion. Rogue, you try to sneak attack. All right, roll me d20. Ooh, you got a 2. Sorry, you break all your limbs. You can't use your arms anymore. You have to be resting for a week with a crutch on. Imagine if you took a core mechanic from a class and you just made it so painful to activate a function with it. It's the same thing as, let's say, for example, if you're not only rolling for attack rolls, but you're also rolling to see if your arm snaps in two when you're trying to make a swing with your club or something. It would be dumb. It would be stupid. What are you gonna start doing as well? Movement? Monks have too high of movement? A monk, if you move past 30 feet, are you gonna roll a d20 to see if your legs don't shatter to pieces because your bones are fragile and turn to paste? Adding something to the martials is fine. That's a decent balance, but this whole spellcasting not working is a way too much of an overcorrection into the opposite direction. That makes the spellcasters really useless. Really useless. DM should honestly reconsider that, and I wish you guys speak up about it and say no, let's not do that. I understand the martial buff, but this just feels unnecessary. Our first encounter, I got 1 spell to work. I lost 3 spell slots for nothing. This isn't that serious yet, but it's annoying to lose my turn for nothing. Ranger only cast twice, but both passed. I was also assuming that I was just unlucky with these rolls, because he was rolling the pass-fail behind the screen. So I was using spells after spells because I was like, how long can I fail for? Eventually I get fed up and start attacking with my sickle. Eventually the party is pretty low, but so are enemies. So I use a wild shape to do the Lands Aid feature, which heals my party in an AoE. I rolled well for healing, and suddenly we're back on our feet. It went pretty handily after that. DM says, damn, that's actually really powerful. I guess I'll give that % to fail too. At this point, I was a bit pissed, because as I am the only full caster, nobody else is feeling this, but I have hope, because this sort of feel like a system he has tested before. Let me guarantee you, this is definitely not a system he has tested before. If he thinks your Lay of the Land feature, what is the feature called again? If he thinks your Lands Aid feature is overpowered, then I don't trust any kind of judgment from this DM in the slightest. This gives me social anxiety and breaks trust with DMs if they think that kind of feature is busted or overpowered. It would be the same thing as, let's say, for example, Life Cleric's feature, where they can add the spell level of the spell they're using on top of it, is overpowered. It's the kind of things that give me conniptions. It's the kind of things that give me conniptions because clearly this DM doesn't know what balance is. You're the only spellcaster there and people need a healer there, and you're acting as a healer for the party. Let you play as the healer for the healing party and stuff. What are they gonna do? Make it so you can wild shape or use your wild shape features in the slightest? Oh, it's just so stupid. It's just so arbitrary. It's so unnecessary. It's an overcorrection to the worst degree. It's like, let's say, for example, if your ranger decided to go Gloomstalker and suddenly DM was like, huh, the Gloomstalker features are overpowered. Maybe you have a chance for them to possibly fail. Then what's the point of playing Gloomstalker if you can't play with the Gloomstalker features at that point? If you want to limit your player choices of subclass by like a small pool, then you should have done that in the beginning in the first place and should have considered about these sort of factors in the first place. This is an overcorrection to the worst degree possible. We play for a few more hours and start to explore and find, well, it says pay. I hope you're not paying this DM to find the first quest, saving some survivor from zombie goblins. As part of that adventure, we'll reach a cave and I say I'm going to turn into a bat to scout. % chance fails me. Now for the spells, I sort of get it, it's gritty or whatever, but for my wild shape, I get 2 a short rest, which in gritty realism is a full day's rest. So I'm starting to feel really useless. Barbarian Monk is still useful without Rage and Key. and Ranger only really wants to use spells for Hunter's Mark, so they're all fine. But I'm getting drained here, and I'm only had my magic work twice. You're getting drained and you're not even satisfied over this. This is bullshit. After the session ends, I ran to my friend and he says, just tell the DM. And I got, what's a good idea? So I DM the DM, haha, tell him that I'm feeling a bit down, that my magic is so useless. I suggest that maybe if the spell doesn't work, it only uses a bonus action, and or doesn't use a spell slot. Plus, gritty realism is working in a Marshal's favor already because they have less expendables. I also ask what the failure chance is. He says, look, I don't want to change my system, but you can make a new character if you want. He also says that a spell fail if he rolls 10 or less. It goes up to 15 or less for level 3 spells, and then to 17 or less for level 5. But we haven't gotten that far yet. This pissed me off a bit, especially the 50% failure chance with my spells and cantrips. But I figured changing class would fix my problem, so I texted everyone else the situation. My character was going to die early on the next session, and I would discover a new one. A rogue. Plus, I figured that a rogue would be useful for the party. This did mean that some of our plans were thrown off. My medicine was a bit lower, but overall, I was confident. 50% chance failure for a cantrip? Bro, you can't even shillelagh yourself? Cantrips don't cost resources. They're a single action or sometimes a bonus action, depends on which kind of cantrip. I don't know how many people use Magic Stone. I think it's rather okay. I think it's kind of neat. Can work out if you're rocking a sling all the time. But seriously? Cantrips? You can't do cantrips? You kidding me? Oh my god. This is frustrating. This is genuinely so aggravating. Next session rolls around and the DM takes almost an hour to kill my druid. Also, she fell down a cavern. I didn't even get to die in battle or saving someone. But that's okay. DM had planned all this before knowing that he had to kill my druid. Then maybe 45 minutes later to find my rogue. Not only am I annoyed about that, but he also instructs the party to be wary of my rogue and not let in on the quest. I get specific members being wary, especially in an apocalypse, but this really felt counterproductive. Excluding a member of the team from the team game when she already hasn't gotten to play for 45 minutes just feels mean. Your DM sucks. You should have left. You honestly should have left. This DM sounds like they're just working against you for no reason. I think they don't like you. I think they got something personally against you. Some sort of personal vendetta. I have no idea what you did to the DM, but it doesn't sound like your DM really likes having you at the table. Genuinely, this doesn't come off as a DM that likes you at the table. This comes off as DM trying to be mean to you for the sake of being mean to you. Pretty soon we get to a big cave with primal spirits in it, who are immediately on edge around me. Me specifically. Ranger and Monk are wise enough that they don't set off any alarm bells, and Barbarian is not cunning enough to pose a threat. I guess this makes sense, but I feel excluded as hell. No, it doesn't make sense at all. DM also looks at me and says, this would have been a great time to be a druid. Tell me that that's not targeted. Then at the end of the session, we have a sneaking challenge where there's a detect magic spell, so no pass without trace, funny business. Wild Shape would have been really bloody useful here. To be fair, I'm a rogue now, which is fine, but it really felt like a challenge designed for a spider or a fly. Your DM makes me want to throw myself at a wall and then come back over with my shoulders broken and toss you DM at a wall multiple times, bounce him around like a beach ball or something. Your DM sounds so aggravating. Why are they going against you all the time? You make it impossible to play as a druid, so they let you kill off your character so you can make a rogue. And then make everybody turn against you, and then the spirits are against you, and then suddenly, gee whiz, this would have been a perfect time to play a druid player, even though I made it so painful for you to play a druid player. Oh my god. And the fact that the DM has the audacity to still stick with those stupid ass casting rules, and then make you feel bad for killing off your druid by being like, this would have been a perfect time to be a druid. Really? I would have loved to play as a druid DM if you didn't make it so goddamn difficult. Like, I get that my new character probably changed the encounter plans and stuff, so you might be mad, but I wanted to keep my druid just with less debuffs. He suggested I change my character immediately. After the session ends, I talk to my friend again to make sure I'm not actually crazy. He agrees the DM seemed to be targeting me a bit. He thought that the caster rules were crazy, especially the 50% chance of failure. He texted the ranger and asked if she knew the DM well. She said that it was his first time DMing. She also texted DM. What? It's his first time DMing and he's pulling some crazy rule like that without understanding what spellcasting is? Banned! Banned from DMing ever again. Banned for 100 years from DMing ever again. Just take a DM dump cap, glue it, super glue it onto their head, shave their head bald first, and then super glue it onto the stupid dumb head. Make him wear that dunce hat until they read the damn PHB, the player handbook, and the DM's guide, until they read and understand that these kind of features are, they'll be designed to be used. They're not be designed to be gimped. This is a DM that doesn't know what they're doing, has no idea what's going on, and thinks, man, boy, howdy dowdy, I'm gonna go ahead and implement this crappy little homebrew rule because I clearly know better, even though I have no experience in DMing whatsoever. Spellcasting, what's that? Why do we make it difficult? Oh, the audacity, the hubris, the idiocy of this DM. This is an idiot of a DM. Just dumb. I'm sorry, that sounds really mean of me to say that, but like, this is just so stupid. Especially being so confident about it when the player brings up a trouble with it. Being so confident about this specific rule. Even this is a first time DMing. Oh my god. This gives me conniptions. This makes my brain hurt. I'm taking 1d100 psychic damage right now. Roll the dice, that's how much damage I'm taking. She also texted the DM about it because she thought she could get him to change the rules to be a bit more normal. But he just left her on a red and texted me that he doesn't appreciate my allegations. I have no idea why this guy has a hate boner for magic and for me, especially since the ranger had only failed one spell out of almost 5 casts, which could be a coincidence, but I don't think it is. But I'm so annoyed about it. I understand that he is a first time DM and for what I give him grace, but like, why would you change so much on a first time DMing? I guess I'm here to rant, but also ask, like, should I be this pissed about this first time DM? Yes, I am mad for you. I am pissed for you. Your DM is literally a moron. They are a cretin. They act like an intellectual with a dumb stat of int of 1. They are an idiot. Literally a brainlet. This is the dumbest ruling you could possibly do as a first time DM. The very first thing you want to do, you just gimp spellcasters because of some sort of vendetta or hate boner on you. Yes, you should be mad. You should be fuming. You should cut off that DM from your life entirely if this is how they want to run their game. This is this is not even bad D&D, right? If let's say, for example, this was like bad D&D, you know, it's like, no, D&D is bad D&D. This is atrocious D&D. This is atrocious DMing by a first time DM that doesn't even... The fact that he's not even self-aware of the things that he's putting on the game and has no idea why he's putting this stuff on the game whatsoever because he doesn't understand what balance is and what spellcasting is so stupid. There's already so many checks that spellcasters have to do. Whenever they cast a spell, they cast a saving throw. Sometimes enemies can succeed on a saving throw. They don't automatically fail. Sometimes when you hit like, I don't know, a cleric hits something with a guiding bolt, they have to roll in the attack roll and actually hit the attack roll. Otherwise, the ability misses. And now you have a 50-50 coin flip on the side that basically goes like, oh, you hit with guiding bolt, coin flip. Oh, sorry, it was the tails instead of the heads. Your attack doesn't work and you waste your precious resource that you already utilized, even though spellcasting is already balanced already at lower levels as it is. At higher levels, you could probably argue that spellcasting is extremely overpowered and wizards are really overpowered. Sure. But at low level, at level 1, 2, and 3 and 4 and 5 potentially, spellcasting is just fine, especially as a druid. The fact that this DM wants to do something so excessive of a change and act so confident about it with such hubris and confidence, it makes my tiefling blood boil, but also gives my brain so much hurt. My brain is in pain. My friend suggested leaving and I feel like it's the best move. But the ranger said she would rather we stay because she doesn't want him to put off DMing. Overall, this guy just seems like a dick, but I don't want to be drastic. You're not drastic in the slightest if you want to leave. You should definitely 100% leave. You should 100% leave. This guy sounds incompetent completely. And the fact that they aren't even self-aware or can't take criticisms over their incompetency and they feel so offended they need to go towards you and say that you've thrown out allegations at them because they don't know what the hell they're doing is laughable. No D&D is better than bad D&D, and this is not even bad D&D. I don't even know what to describe this as. This is a train wreck happening in real time. And the wreck is still continuing. There's still people screaming in the background, and the fire is still been lit up for like 10 days. This is a wreck that happened 10 days ago, and it's still getting worse. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales tomorrow. Bye-bye.